Hello everyone, my name is SiC, welcome back to Hidden and Dangerous 2. Some of you guys wanted me to go back to this game and I myself really wanted to. This time it's a little bit different. I've got a widescreen support fix, I've got a bit of software that allows me to record this in 60 frames per second, so the last video that I did on this, I did a few. It was in a very cropped resolution, it wasn't 60 frames per second, all of that is different now, but I also have a new computer, or I got a new computer since then. It's not new anymore, but between the old videos and this new video, yeah, big change. So we have to go through the campaign again, so if you watched those earlier videos, I'm sorry, I have to go through the beginning again. But with the new resolution, with the new frame rates per second, it's going to be worthwhile. Now, for those of you guys that are new to this, Hidden and Dangerous 2 is one of the best goddamn tactical shooters of all time. Alright? Tactical shooting, the tactical genre of FPS, basically began with the original Rainbow Six and Hidden and Dangerous. They were the first few FPS games that really cemented that squad gameplay where you could die very quickly. And Hidden and Dangerous 2 is in fact the best possible example of a sequel done right. It takes the original concept, it expands upon it, and it does so in meaningful ways. This game, compared to the original Hidden and Dangerous, is almost unrecognizable in how much stuff they added, but it's still, at the same time, it's it's recognizably Hidden and Dangerous as well. Yeah. Anyway, let's press resume game. I skipped the training because the training sucks. You can go through it, but I don't want to. Let's have a look at the first cutscene.
Keep the altitude low, we're approaching the radar range, and stop chatting, we need this frequency clear.
Come on, Mike, there's nothing but snow and ice for hundreds of miles.
Yes, at least joking around relieves the boredom of the mission. I know what you mean, I'd rather be with those boys fighting the Luftwaffe.
Oh, really? And I'm here for the riveting conversation.
That's easy for you to say, you're just here for this mission. We're above the coast, pull up.
Climbing to 400.
Chaps down below, that looks interesting.
Damn, we've got company, 5 o'clock.
It looks like there are two of them. They're right behind us.
Roger, I'll take care of them.
Look out, they're right on your tail.
I know, what the hell? Come on!
Watch it, he's going to get you.
Damn, I can't hold it. Try to lose them in the clouds.
Black 2, where are you? I can't see you.
They got me, god damn it! I'm going down!
Base, they've got Black 2. We're heading home.
Also, was sagen Sie bei der Besprechung über diesen Einsatz? Ich habe ein Feindflugzeug gesehen und Sie haben es abgeschossen. Sehr schön, Leutnant, sehr schön.
Right, so the first mini-campaign takes place in Norway, and that's how this game works. We work in mini-campaigns, and at the start of a mini-campaign, we get to select a crew. Now, the game already selected a couple of guys for us, but if we press automatic selection, that's basically not going to change. But one guy I really like is this dude right here, Herbert Doc Bennett. As his nickname might suggest, he's very good at first aid. He's a really good medic. So, I don't know about the rest of these guys. Let's remove this guy, I guess, and add him. Ah, now I can click on him. That was a little bit confusing. So we have someone who's a very good medic. He's also pretty decent shot. He's pretty terrible at stealth though. He's at lockpicking and so on. Basically they all have pretty good statistics. Now Thomas Wright here is an excellent shot, as his statistic might suggest. This guy is a little bit of everything, so he can go all ways basically. Now we have another great shooter, and he's also really good at stealth, but he's really shit at first aid. So These guys are made up of little statistics. They also have background information. So for example, Herbert Dog Bennett, if we click on soldier info, we can read his background. So he is from a family of aristocrats. He studied medicine at Oxford before attending the Royal School of Artillery in Larkhill. This young doctor served his military service in an artillery unit. He volunteered to join the commandos and later the SAS because he wanted to take an active part in battle and use his medical background in the field. He is married to Anne. That is actually my real name, Anne. I'm not married to this guy though. I never will be. Anyway, so all of these guys are made up of statistics, and they will improve as time goes on. But if they die during a mission, they will be dead forever. So there's a slight RPG element to this game. But if they improve, it is only ever so slightly. It's like 0.5%, a few percentages. It depends on all the things you make them do in the game, which is really cool.
The reconnaissance flight, which returned from the northwest coast of the Lofots, brought back images of an unknown facility south of the Samsund port. According to the images, it may be an oil refinery under construction. However, the Norwegian resistance fighters suggest it could be something else entirely. The facility above ground could be just a decoy. It may be that it's a top-secret research facility whose main part is built underground. Your task in this mission is to conduct a detailed survey of the facility and its surroundings. In carrying out this operation, you will have to suppress all enemy resistance in the area. During the reconnaissance flight, the accompanying fighter pilot was lost, so you have to find out what happened to him. According to the weather forecast, there will be high winds and a heavy snowfall, so the drop will not be easy. This is the planned drop zone. From here, you will proceed east, where your guide, Sigurd Vesar, the Norwegian resistance fighter, should be waiting for you. As one of the residents of the nearby fishing village, he is familiar with the area, and, depending on the situation, he will be able to help you to determine the safest way to the facility. The facility is closely guarded, and your first task will be to kill the guards around the perimeter fence. Next, you'll have to clear and survey the entire area. You can also expect German patrols and reinforcements, which will have been put on alert by the crash of the Spitfire that accompanied the reconnaissance flight. So, be on your guard and select your equipment and weapons carefully. The mission objectives are clear. Contact the Norwegian resistance fighter. He must stay alive. Get into the facility. Kill the guards around the perimeter fence. Clear the area of enemy units. Survey the entire construction site, locate the entrance to the underground complex, and gather your team at this place. Good luck, gentlemen.
Alright, so that's the first bit of introduction to the mission that we have to do. But this is only one mission in a series of 4. I happen to know this. Like the mini campaigns, they vary in length, so it's not always the same thing. But here's where it gets interesting. The mini campaign, right now, we still have to embark. We're not in Norway yet. So right now we can select all the things we want to take with us. So if we press recommended selection, they will give us an example of all the things that we might take. But we have access to light weapons, medium weapons, and basically we can take as much of these as we want. We have access to a whole lot of different things. So we got 6 Enfield rifles, for example. We can only take 4 people. So we have access to 4 Delisle SiC weapons. I already have one in the hands of Andrew Harris over here, so I could give this rifle to all of these guys if I so desired. But here's the thing. After I deploy on that first mission, out of the 4 in this campaign, I cannot change their loadout anymore because, of course, we have now deployed, we're behind enemy lines, and so this whole stockpile of weapons that we have back home is simply going to be unavailable to us until we deploy somewhere else. And if we wanted to have other weapons, for example, well, we would have to scavenge those from the Germans. It does suggest a few things that we have to take. For example, necessary items for the mission are 1 times a wire cutter, and we have a camera. Now, right now, Andrew Harris has the wire cutter, and he also has the silenced rifle, which suits me just fine. We have Larry Smith with the heavy machine gun. It is a Bren LMG. We have a Springfield rifle in the hands of Thomas Wright and a SMG in the hands of Doc. Now, this is pretty good, but maybe instead of having what rifle is this? The Springfield. We can probably get a Springfield with a scope. Yeah. That's better. So, we have to make sure that we take everything with us that we want. Now, there's also an interesting thing. We have pouches, we have a backpack. The stuff in the backpack we cannot actually use until we move it from the backpack into the pouch. So, when we start, we only have access, for example, to 5 magazines for a total of 25 bullets. We have access to the knife, the bomb, and the pistol. If we want to get more of that stuff, we have to take all of this from the backpack and put it into our pouch. Pretty sensible, but not every game treats it that way. And so we also have a capacity amount. There's a capacity for our pouches. The pouches are completely full. The backpack could fit a little bit more, and in fact, the capacity is 21.8 kilograms out of a possible 32. So we could actually load more stuff in here. But we probably don't want to, because these guys have a sprinting or like a stamina statistic, right? And we need those to run away from grenades, for example. Now, the more you carry, the heavier you are, the less far you will be able to sprint. So this guy, he is completely full, except for like 100 milligrams or something. But this guy won't be able to sprint for shit. Anyway, let's continue on with the mission and we'll talk a little bit there. Let's have a look. We are ready for the drop-off to the Lofots Islands. After the drop-off, we must immediately proceed to find a member of the local pro-British resistance who will guide us and show us where the mission objectives are located. We would appreciate it if he could provide us with information on German guards placement, but our guide is not a soldier, and therefore we cannot expect such a detailed tactical preparation. In any case, we should soon reach a factory facility where we will have to deal with guards first. According to our intelligence service information, only provisional units with insufficient training, and equipment have been deployed to the area. When we make sure nobody can attack us from behind, we will start a search for an entrance to the underground complex. Having found it, we will gather there, and one of us will enter the complex to discover its purpose. Right, so the first 3 missions actually take place on this same map. Well, sort of. This is, of course, the first deployment. Then we have to go into the facility. Later on, we have to extract from this area. And then finally, the last mission takes place on an iceberg. I've played this game so much, I am super familiar with these first 4 maps. They're very enjoyable, but yeah.
41. The whole world is caught up in the frenzy of war. The world's powers are amassing their armies, and they're expecting our team to inflict damage to the German operations behind enemy lines. The stormy weather over Norway is tossing our Dakota around like a rag doll. We can only have faith in our pilot's ability to get us to the drop zone. We are going into action knowing that we will bravely complete our mission. One day we'll look back on this and remember when we, members of the SAS, risked our lives to fight for a better world.
Try to breathe through your nose, otherwise your breath will freeze inside your mask. Don't talk if you don't have to. Okay, boys, final equipment check. It's time.
We're over the drop zone. Understood.
Let's go. We're already behind schedule. They're not expecting you down there, so good luck. Go! Let's move out!
Right. So this game is an absolute work of passion. There is so much detail going into this. It is a fantastic tactical shooter. And as you can see, like the production value, like it's an old game now, but when it came out, the production value of this game was through the roof. Like I have the box set, and the box set is amazing. Like the artwork on there, it is absolutely great. It is really astonishing. Now we also have different ways of commanding our squad, for example. So when I press the 0 button on my numpad, we get a little action menu, almost like Arma or the original Operation Flashpoint, and we can give our guys orders. And we have options of going loud, and we have access to silent options as well. And when we look at people, we could, for example, say action first aid, and one of these guys would perform first aid on Herbert Doc Bennett here, or he would perform it on himself if possible. Anyway, I want these guys to follow me. Now if I go into third person mode and I use follow me in silent mode,
Follow me!
Consider it
I actually use the hand signal as well, and the Germans won't be able to hear me. Now another thing that I can do is, for example, the silent attack. We have fire at will, hold your fire, or wait for my shot. In this particular case I know what's going on,
Hold fire!
Understood.
so I want them to hold fire, because we're going to meet with Sigurd Fazar, and this guy is going to be our guide. And as you might have noticed in the briefing, there are two places, or two routes he could take us, and it depends on whether we were allowed or not. And we will encounter some Germans along the way. So if we make any loud noises, like firing a rifle shot that is not silenced, he will not take us past one of the more
Enemy.
optimal routes.
I've hit him!
Oh crap.
He's dead!
Okay, now that was a shot. He managed to get one off. It won't alert all the Germans to our area, but it does mean that Sigurd won't take us through the swamp. Oh god damn it.
He's dead!
Oh boy. Right, so that guy came to investigate the noise. The AI in this game is actually pretty damn good. Like, they won't make any amazing tactical maneuvers, obviously. But they will go very quiet, because there are 4 movement options in here. And you can see them in the bottom left. You can see 4 little triangles, actually. And right now I have 2 triangles, which means a walking speed. If I scroll my mouse wheel down, I will go into sneaking mode, which is the 1 triangle. And I will be completely silent, and I will be super slow. Then of course we have a regular speed, which is kind of like a jogging speed, and then the 4th one we can only do when we're standing up. So that is a sprint I mentioned earlier. And as you might notice, like, this guy had a lot of weight, so his stamina is going to go down almost immediately. I could sprint for like 2 meters and that's like too much. It's a bit crazy that way. Anyway, we've already made noise, so maybe at this point
Wait for my shot!
these guys should wait for my shot. And if I shoot at anyone, they will also open fire.
Visual contact!
Now I happen to know, and I also can see it on the compass in the top left, that we have an enemy contact up ahead. Now the compass is a physical object in our possession. It is right here in our backpack. If I did not have the compass on my person, we would not have that little display in the top left. It's a very interesting thing. Alright, so we have the 1 guy over there. There's probably a few more. But at this point, since we're already loud, we might as well try to take care of everyone here. There's the other guy. Right, let's switch over to our sniper. And that's another thing you can do in this game, is you can switch between characters. There's also a detailed planning mode, which I've never really got into, because when I started playing this game, I was very young, and I was not aware of how to do it, and I did not put in the time to learn, but it looks very detailed, and yeah. Alright, let's no, wait, that's not what I want. Silent attack.
Wait for my shot!
Wait for my shot.
Consider it
Right,
done.
so everybody sees that guy. or this guy. They don't see that guy, so I'm going to take care of that dude.
Hit it! He's gone.
Ooh, and Harris took an immediate shot on that dude. And that way the AI is pretty good as well. They are pretty damn amazing shots. I actually remember the 4th map on the iceberg, where you have this huge little, that doesn't make sense, but you had this iceberg overlooking a camp, and I put a sniper on there, and then I used one guy to sneak in, and once I went loud, everybody on top of the iceberg supported me, and even though they were very far away,
Hold fire! Consider it understood.
the sniper actually managed a very difficult shot. And that isn't a given in this game. Like, sometimes they actually make pretty bad shots, or it takes them a while to hit. It's not guaranteed, but in this particular case, he killed someone that came up behind me, and it was a perfect shot, and it saved my ass, and it was fantastic. Now this is the other thing. I didn't tell them to follow me. I did that as Harris. Right now I'm right, so I need to order that thing again, but I was out of range.
Follow!
So I wasn't able to give that order from a distance. Because of course, it's World War II, not everybody has a radio in their pocket, so that is another thing that you have to take into account. But I think we took care of most of the Germans. One of these guys is staying behind, I think. Sergeant Smith doesn't look like he's following. Yeah.
Follow! Roger. Understood.
These two guys were in the area, but Sergeant Smith was over here somewhere. Yeah. He's finally just coming along. Didn't notice that at first, but it's something that's very important to remember. Now, another thing that is really cool about the Hidden and Dangerous series in general, Hidden and Dangerous 1 as well as Hidden and Dangerous 2, is there is a huge variety in areas that you have to play in, as well as mission objectives. Right now this one is pretty simple, where we have to infiltrate an encampment, we have to kill everyone. There are other missions that are very different indeed. And also very different areas. So right now we're in wintry Norway. Of course, no World War II game is complete without going to France, but we also go to Poland, where we engage the Russian army. We go to Burma, where we encounter the Japanese army. And there's Africa. And there's probably another one that I can't remember right now. Alright. We have Sigurd Fezan. Now he's going to be very upset with us because we made a lot of noise.
Hey, over here! I'm Sigurd. Your contact. What kept you? We were supposed to meet 2 hours ago. I was about to leave.
Are you crazy? What's all the shooting for?
I have a family. I don't need you to alert all of the guards. I'll lead you a little way down the road. But after that, you will have to continue on your own. Follow me.
Right. So this guy is now going to lead us down the road. So we're going to take the long way around. We're going to encounter
See the Spitfire that was shot down.
several German
The
patrols.
pilot survived, and I hit him nearby. He's fit enough to make the trip back to England, though. You
Oh.
can pick him up on your way back.
Okay.
First, I'll take you to the factory. Then I'll let him know you're coming for him. We'll wait for you at the cottage.
Right, so if we had remained quiet, we would actually have gone that way. And he would have led us through the swamp, and we would have ended up right outside the encampment, where we could have cut a hole in the fence. And we could have quietly taken out some of the guards. Now we're going to take the long way around. We're going to encounter several German patrols, possibly even a machine gun nest that I don't quite remember. It's not the best way to go about this mission, but yeah, we're going to roll with it. And actually we do get a chance to take some sniping shots at guards and guard towers and so on, so it might not be the worst thing either, but definitely not the best thing. Yeah, and I don't want to use the third person mode because that feels like cheating to me. Unfortunately, I have not found an option to turn that off, so I have to just keep my way, or my finger away from the C key, which controls that function. Another thing we can do is we can actually save the game. So if we mess up, we can actually go back a little bit. Oh, I will try not to do that, because I kind of want to roll with the blows here. If I lose someone, I should just lose him, you know, because that's my fault. Oh yeah, I thought we were coming up on some guys.
Hold fire!
Consider it done.
Actually,
Wait for my shot!
that's the better option there. Well, luckily they won't see us quite yet. Sigurd Frisla isn't quite done with leading our way. Doesn't
Enemy
take us very
spotted.
far now, but yeah.
Something is wrong. That truck shouldn't be there. This is where I leave you. There's not much further for you to go. You need to go left at the junction up ahead. The road leads to the complex, but watch out for the enemy. The guards are patrolling the surrounding area.
Visual contact!
Alright, so this is really cool. I would like... Yeah, Sigurd, you need to go back. You need to get out of here. You need to stop walking your way. Come on, dude. Just leave. Run. Alright. So yeah, this is something that we have to take care of. We have that guy over there carrying gasoline.
Orders are to infiltrate the complex.
Yeah, we're not following you. Just go away.
What are you doing? Do you want to jeopardize the mission?
Alright. Okay. Oh!
There they are!
I never noticed that. I didn't know they would actually make the truck go away. I thought it was just going to be stuck forever. This is... I played this game so much, I've never even experienced that.
Sighted!
That is fantastic. Ah, looks like it, Oh. That other guy got back into the truck. The truck is now leaving. Oh, this is so cool. I never even knew that. And we have that... Looks like two guys. Yeah, there's two guys in one spot. That's a little bit weird. A bit buggy. But we might take advantage of that. No, it's just the one guy. Okay. Interesting. I never knew that was an option. Usually I just engaged them as soon as Sigurd was gone and they had not actually got the truck out of the snow. And actually I was going to remark on the fact that I could actually see that only the rear tires were spinning and that the front tires were not doing anything. You know, and I kind of figured that it would be all four wheels spinning because vehicle gameplay isn't... You can get into a vehicle, but it never was a really big part of it. You know, it's something you can do, but it's not really something that has a lot of gameplay value on the whole. So, that was very unexpected, actually. And like I said, this game is very detailed. Like I said, you have so many different environments. They all look really cool. The mission designs are varied as well. Like, it's never really the same. It's just really cool. I'm seeing something on the compass, which is kind of worrying. Apparently we spotted something somewhere. Right, so we have the map. The complex is right up ahead. But now I'm worried about like having a sniper up on the hills or something. I don't know.
Wait for my shot!
Alright, I think since I already shot, I should issue this command again. Right, so... Oh! I did get 2 kills. I only saw the one guy go down, but the other guy went down because he was behind the sandbags and I didn't see. That is fantastic. So that was 1 shot, 2 kills. And it was in the middle of his face. Holy shit. I love this game. Literally, this is one of my favorite games of all time, and it's not...
I see them!
It doesn't have anything to do with the fact that it was one of my earlier games. It's like genuinely a fantastic game. Still, to this very day, it is one of the best games ever made. There is so much detail in all the systems, yet at the same time it's not super complex in terms of controls or mechanics. There's a lot of depth to go through, but you know, it doesn't make the game hard to play. On the whole, you only get like the basic FPS controls, and you can climb over obstacles, which is something not even a lot of modern games have, like the vaulting mechanic. Alright, so we have that guy over there. We have this guy over here. I'm going to take a shot at that guy. Alright, so that's 2 guards down on the perimeter. I'm going to wait here a second, because I know, I'm pretty sure that is going to alert some people, yeah. Somebody's going to come check out this area now. Probably. There was already one guy running. So starting over here actually isn't the worst thing, because we do get to snipe from afar a little bit, and otherwise we would have been right at the edge of the perimeter fence, and we might have been overwhelmed if we had to go loud at that point. So it's not too bad, but we do have to take our time a little bit to snipe and really make the most of the situation. And this is another thing, like even when you're prone, you have the 3 different stances, or like the 3 different speeds. Right now we are at a walking crawl, we can do a jog crawl, doesn't quite make sense, but you crawl a little bit faster. And you even have the stealthy crawl, which is like super slow. All of this is so innovative, and it hasn't been done in many games afterwards. Only a few, like the what am I going to say? Like the weight of your gear impacting how far you can sprint. You know, all the different options that you have for commanding your squad. The tactical planning that you can do with the planner, which I've never really got into, which maybe I probably should, because it's very detailed. And it might even rival that of Rainbow Six. The fact that you die very quickly. The only real complaints I could level at it is that when it first came out, there was no co-op mode, but they added it in an expansion pack. So you can still play co-op now, through a LAN, of course, because the online service doesn't work anymore. And the multiplayer, like the player versus player combat, really kind of sucked. There was something about the netcode that made people circle strafe around each other, because that was like the most efficient way to play. If you sat still, you died, and it kind of turned the whole thing into, I don't know, a big mess, really. It wasn't really a lot of fun to play. Though I did play it for a while. But the real strength of this game lies in co-op, and it lies in single player. And I love, and I really miss single player tactical shooters. Like, I like Squad, I like all the modern FPS games, like the tactical shooters that focus primarily on multiplayer, but I do really miss the single player experience, like an actual proper single player experience. And I see a door
Enemy
opening.
sighted!
Oh, that's a wound. And I see someone up in the tower as well. Right, 1 shot left. And I'm worried more people will show up. And I'm thinking I'm going to take a right on the perimeter here. And I'm going to kind of circle around the encampment. I will kill what I can before moving in, because I also know there are multiple patrols inside still. I know there's a dog in here somewhere. And the dog is actually really fast and kind of hard to hit, so he's a bastard to deal with. And, oh, hello. There we go. Oh man, it feels so good to be playing this game again. Like, I put this off for so long, first of all because I actually had to find a workaround for recording this. I'm not recording this in the usual way, I'm actually just recording my screen instead of the actual game. And also I had to try to fix the widescreen stuff, which was a little bit tricky as well, because originally when I tried it, you have to do a hex edit. And the hex edit actually didn't work, because for some reason I couldn't find those files, they were hidden. And my original install just didn't add it. So I bought the game on GOG.com, I bought the game on Steam, because I just wanted to have it, and it was very cheap. And I love this game, so I wanted to show some support for it, even though, of course, the developers behind this game are no longer making this game. They've been absorbed by a bigger company. That is now Take-Two. These guys also made Mafia, by the way, like the first Mafia, which was a critical success as well, and has a great story. Though it's very different in nature to this game. Anyway, I'm rambling a bit, but suffice to say, like, this game, if you've never played it before, you can find it on GOG.com, you can find it on Steam. It is well worth your time, because it is a fantastic game. You don't really have to get a workaround except for the widescreen support. It just works on modern PCs. And mechanically, it is still a game that is pretty much unrivaled to this day. It is really, really cool. Like the depth behind it, the mission design, the world design. We see a guy just trying to sweep some snow.
I see them.
Can't have that. Alright, so now I'm kind of worried because we already had another guy in sight as well.
Fire at will!
Roger. Understood.
Enemy spotted!
Alright, we need to stay low, because these guys are going to copy my stance, but... Oh shit. We were about to be flanked. Luckily my guy spotted him, and it did show up on the compass because of that, but if I was by myself and I didn't look that direction, it would not show up on the compass whatsoever. So, that is an important note to make as well. Anyway, I was going to say you can still find this game on Steam and on GOG.com, and if you've never played it before, please do, because it's so cool. It's such a great game, and it works on modern PCs as well. Anyway, let's switch to Harris here, because I remember that Harris actually had the option to cut through the wire fence. And we're going to do that now. Actually, it's a space button. Using wire cutters, you can actually see the animation for it as well. Ta-da! We just had our own little insertion point. Now at this point I am still going to continue with the sniper because it is pretty good.
Follow!
Understood.
And
Consider it
the
done.
dual CC, while it is silenced and it is a rifle, the range on it is actually pretty limited. So it's not a great option to move forward with at this range. Like, I would prefer to stay at a distance a little bit.
Enemy sighted.
Oh shit, we... Right, I need to keep an eye out. Oh! Somebody's shooting, but from where? Oh shit. Oh boy. Luckily, this is the first map, but it's still easy to get all of your guys killed, especially at close range, when somebody like throws a grenade or something, because the grenade ranges on this game are actually pretty damn lethal as well. But man, I feel like finishing this whole game again now. Like, I want to do a regular series on this again.
I see them.
Somebody saw someone. I think he's outside the perimeter fence or something. Oh. Hello. He wanted to get up into the tower. Bad move. But an interesting move, because you don't see AI in games generally do that a whole lot. Oh, and I think, yeah, that's another guy dead. Way in the back there. I'm really making the most of my sniper rifle here. This feels really good, because I was kind of afraid that my first try on this mission would lead in a wipe, as it has often done. As so easily happens when I get close behind the fence. Like, I actually would have liked to do a stealth run, but the second mission will actually be the stealth run, because one of my guys will have to go downstairs by himself. And that is always a little bit tricky, because you can't rely on any teammates. And you have to clear out the whole facility by yourself. You have to photograph several things. You have to plant bombs that are on a timer. So you might miss a guard somewhere, and as you're running around trying to plant bombs and just get out of it in time, you might run into those and you have a firefight you didn't count on, and it gets very tricky. It's very cool. Anyway, time for Harris to cut another hole in the fence. We're just going to continue circling around the perimeter here.
Follow!
Understood. Roger.
So I know there's still a dog around here somewhere. There's multiple guards around here somewhere as well. There's probably someone walking the inner perimeter as well. Like, or the inner courtyard or whatever it's called. I don't know. But there are still 2 guys that show up on the compass. So still someone somewhere. And I know there's a guard in one of these buildings as well. Alright, maybe at this point, you know what, let's switch things up a little bit. Let's put our sniper.
Enemy spotted.
Oh shit. Shooting at someone. Something up ahead. Not sure what, but let me just
Enemy sighted.
cut another hole in the fence here. Ah, I see him. Oh shit! Oh, and here comes the dog. Oh shit. Alright. Got the 2 guys that can shoot back at us at least, but here comes the puppy. Oh shit. I feel bad about this, I do. But somebody else did it for me. That's good. Oh man. I know it's just a video game, but man, I love dogs and I feel terrible about shooting them. Wright almost got killed though. Look at my health bar. That's terrible. Alright, so what I can also do is I can press 4 for Sergeant Bennett because he's 4th on the list. Huh, interesting. For some reason I can't select an action. That's a bit weird. But maybe if we switch over to Harris, like I can also do it myself, but let's get number 4. Do an action.
Treat him.
First aid
Roger.
on Mr. Wright here. And unlike Arma medics, he actually gets straight to the point. He doesn't move around all that much. And he's super good at healing this guy up. He's not quite full health, but he is very close. Anyway, alright, maybe at this point he has a stun gun. Let's have everybody
Follow. Consider
that.
it done. Understood.
because we have to get close now. And I turned off the crosshairs. The game does have crosshairs by default. I turned them off because I just prefer it that way. We need to start clearing out this area. I still want to do one final run past the perimeter before we move further in. Now Wright is also healing himself up slightly, I noticed in the chat. And he has a little bit more health than he did before, but he's very bad at it, so he uses up a lot of resources and he doesn't get a lot in return. That's why having a medic is so good. Yeah, he did it again. He's very close to full health now, but at the cost of what, really? Unfortunately, you cannot really tell the AI not to do something. They're kind of autonomous that way, which is also kind of good, but maybe you want to save those packs for someone else, I don't know. Alright, now another thing this game has, as you might notice right now, is like the gun is actually low. It's a low ready stance, like in Ground Branch. And if I click once, it brings the gun up, and now I can shoot, and kind of shoot from the hip. Right mouse click, of course, brings up the iron sights, and it does stay up for a little while, so I'm combat ready when I need to be. But after a while the gun goes down into low ready again. Which is a cool bit of detail that I quite enjoy. And another thing that we might also notice is breath. Like I just saw like a little breath in front of me, and because we're playing in widescreen mode, it's further away from me than it should be. Like technically that comes from my mouth. The camera feels like it's a little bit further back now, so it's not quite where it normally would be. But that's supposed to be my breath that you see up in front of me somewhere sometimes. And the same is true for enemies. You will sometimes see the breath of enemies as well. Wasn't quite sure of how to say, like, the actual word for saying that you can see someone's breath billowing out, maybe? But billowing seems like something that like a huge smoke column does, and isn't quite appropriate for breath. I don't know.
Fire at will. Consider it done. Consider it done.
Right, I'm kind of nervous about these guys running through the ruins. It's not the best thing for them to do. Oh!
Enemy killed.
There we go.
There they are. You see it? He's gone.
Oh shit. Wright got injured again. We had a guy close by, and there's not a guy in the woods still. Enemy units eliminated. Interesting. So I don't think we did. I think I saw movement on the compass as well. Like, I think that little red dot that we're seeing right now is still that contact on the hills. Which is interesting. Now, another thing that's interesting is the Bren gun can actually only be fired from a prone position, I think. Yeah, because I can't shoot right now. So the Bren gun, only useful if you're lying down. Which makes it a little bit limited, but oh well. Alright, so this guy... maybe if I get up close. Inventory. Ah, no, I can access his inventory. Ah, well. Thomas is right. Oh, he doesn't have... that's interesting. He doesn't have medical stuff on his person anymore. Probably in his backpack, but not where I would like it to be. Now, if I remember correctly... No, I don't remember correctly the button for the objective screen. I would like to find a button for that, but maybe later. So we killed all the guys in here, but I doubt that's true, because I know there's some guys on the... Like in a cellar, they're supposed to be there as well. Oh, that's the guy that almost killed us. And there's sometimes a guy in here, but maybe because we were loud he got out. And sometimes there's a guy by the entrance over there, because I know that that is the entrance.
Follow me! Fire at will!
So I'm thinking maybe we only killed the perimeter guards, and not the guys inside. Yeah, okay, so that's all done. Now, of course, you can lean in this game as well, and it's quite a good lean. Looks really cool as well. Though our AI fellows won't do it, unfortunately. Alright, so let's have a look. This is where we're supposed to gather, so... Found the entrance. If we really did kill everyone, the other objective should tick off as well. Mission successful. Yeah, we really did kill everyone, so we didn't even have to go into the buildings. Well then. That was a very successful run. So yeah, we can also see the squad progression at work. So because we had like full gear on Andrew Harris, he is now a little bit stronger and he can carry half a kilo extra. His shooting is slightly improved as well by 0.2%. His stealth is plus 1.3%. Same thing for Larry Smith. He has half a kilo extra. His stealth has improved. He has got the War Medal awarded to all persons serving in the armed forces after 28 days of war, so we didn't really have to do much for that. Then we have Thomas Wright, the sniper. His shooting has improved considerably, especially considering where he was at already. His stealth has improved. His first aid has slightly improved because he healed himself up a little bit. He can carry a little bit more as well. And he has got the Distinguished Service Order, awarded for merits or important services to officers of armed forces during war. I think that's because he killed a lot of people as a sniper. And then we have Herbert Doc Bennett, also half a kilo of extra of carry capacity. We have plus 1.6% stealth mode, and only ever so little increase, or an ever so small increase in his healing ability, because he was already very good. Another thing that we have is the diary. So every time we finish something, we get a little diary entry. Because we're playing the widescreen support stuff, they're just like, it's a little bit stretched, unfortunately, but hey. Let's have a look. we've had our first jump. We parachuted at night into Norwegian territory. We landed close to a forest which was being searched by German patrols looking for a pilot who had bailed out of his plane. We ran into some of them and had to find our way past them. Then we rendezvoused with our contact Sigurd, a Norwegian resistance fighter who was to be our guide. He wasn't happy about our gunfight with the Germans, and he was worried about his family, so he only accompanied us as far as absolutely necessary, to an intersection where the Germans were trying to free a truck that was stuck. He explained to us how to get to our destination and then disappeared back into the forest. After a while, we found what we were looking for, a factory complex under construction. It was only patrolled by a few guards. We killed the guards and found the entrance to the underground part of the factory. None of us are looking forward to going in. Alright, so we can save this and continue, but that is going to be for a different day. So, please leave a like and a comment below if you enjoyed this content and wish to see more Hidden and Dangerous 2 stuff. And I'll see you guys for whatever video I do next.